Labour has officially won the 2024 general election in the UK after reaching the required 326 seats. So far, results for 647 of the 650 seats have been declared. Of them, Labour has won 412 seats. Conservatives have won 120 seats, the Liberal Democrats 71, the Scottish National Party 9 seats and Sinn Féin in 7 seats. Speaking at central London, Keir Starmer, who is said to be the new Prime Minister, said, "Change begins now. It feels good. I have to be honest," he told a cheering crowd.
You campaigned for it, you fought for it, you voted for it, and now it has arrived. Change begins now.
Now, the Conservative Party conceded defeat. In a fairly short speech, incumbent Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said, and I quote, "Labour has won this election." He said he had called Starmer to congratulate him on his victory.
By thanking the returning officer and all the team who've been working. That is something that should give us all confidence in our country's stability and future. The British people have delivered a sobering verdict tonight. There is much to learn and reflect on, and I take responsibility for the loss. To the many good, hard-working Conservative candidates who lost tonight, despite their tireless efforts.
Now, Sunak conceded defeat. However, he retained his Richmond and Northallerton seat. Keir Starmer has also won his seat in Holborn and St Pancras in London. Ed Davey, the leader of Liberal Democrats, has been re-elected in Kingston and Surbiton. Reform UK's Nigel Farage has been elected as Clacton MP, his first win in 8 attempts. Jeremy Corbyn has been re-elected as MP for Islington North as an independent. Meanwhile, Labour's victory has received mixed reviews. While some people in London say they were excited after the Labour Party won the general election, others did not expect major changes to take place.
Yeah, excited for something to need to happen. I think the country needs it. It's not the same. You know, I was a child in '97. I don't think it's quite that kind of spirit. But I'm hopeful the new government will come in with some plans.
My feel with Labour coming in and the way that they have changed in the last few years is that we are going to get that again. So if we stand a chance to have that, I think that is what they can deliver.
I think the future will be better. I think the future will be more better now. So since the Labour Party is in power now, I think the country will be more better in terms of job and in terms of safety. So there will be more of protection in the country and more job for the country.
Just to reiterate, the Labour Party has officially won the 2024 general elections in the UK, and this is by a landslide majority. After 14 years of Conservative rule, it's a change of guard in the UK politics. So far, results for 647 of the 650 seats have been declared. Of them, Labour has won in 412 seats, and the Conservative have won in 120 seats, the Liberal Democrats in 71. Of course, we earlier got you words from the former Prime Minister now, Rishi Sunak, and Keir Starmer, who is going to be the next Prime Minister of the country. Keir Starmer was quoted as saying that it felt really good and he had to be honest about it, and he is obviously speaking about his win in the elections. To give us more perspective on this, our correspondent Stuart Smith now joins us live from London. Stuart, results all in expected lines, would you say? A change of guard, of course, a seismic shift, some would say, in UK politics. Can't help us ask, but did Labour win, or did the Tories really help Labour win? In other words, did UK vote for Labour, or did it vote against the Conservative Party?
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're getting at. This is the question people are asking after that massive election result for Labour. A huge majority, one that could keep the new Prime Minister Keir Starmer in power for another 5 years comfortably. But was it voters on Thursday choosing to vote for Labour policies and Keir Starmer, or was it a rejection of the Tories? The data seems to suggest it was more a rejection of the Conservative Party after 14 years compared to a ringing endorsement for Labour. That's partly for a few reasons. One is when you look at the vote share. In 2019, Labour suffered a historic loss. They got 32% of the vote. This year, a major win, but only 34% of the vote. A quirk of the British electoral system means that this time it's a big win for Labour as opposed to last, but it's not a resounding endorsement. What seems to have happened is the right wing in the UK seems to have been split between the Conservative Party and Reform UK, which got millions of votes but barely any seats, again due to the first past the post voting system we have in the UK. And so it seems like voters were punishing the Conservative Party for various reasons, some policy related, such as the state of the National Health Service, the state of the economy and the poor attempts that haven't succeeded to tackle immigration, but also a message from voters perhaps that they were fed up with what Keir Starmer termed sleaze and mismanagement, chaos he suggested under the Conservative government, something he says his Labour government will be right on top of.
Stuart, I'm going to come back to the vote share in just a bit after this question. Let me extend that question. In fact, did the UK partly also vote against Rishi Sunak? He has often been blamed for lacking political charisma and for being too rich, for want of a better phrase. And it made him seem a little out of touch with ordinary citizens and their reality.
There were occasions during the election campaign when Rishi Sunak did indeed seem out of touch. He's a billionaire, of course, and a financial trader by profession, but certainly a lack of charisma is something that also Keir Starmer has been accused of having. He's used that quite well to his advantage, though, in trying to distance himself from the difficulties of the Labour Party past and also trying to differentiate himself.
I will shortly be seeing His Majesty the King to offer my resignation as Prime Minister. To the country, I would like to say, first and foremost, I am sorry. I have given this job my all, but you have sent a clear signal that the government of the United Kingdom must change, and yours is the only judgment that matters. I have heard your anger, your disappointment, and I take responsibility for this loss. To all the Conservative candidates and campaigners who worked tirelessly but without success, I am sorry that we could not deliver what your efforts deserved. It pains me to think how many good colleagues who contributed so much to their communities and our country will now no longer sit in the House of Commons. I thank them for their hard work and their service. Following this result, I will step down as party leader, not immediately, but once the formal arrangements for selecting my successor are in place. It is important that after 14 years in government, the Conservative Party rebuilds, but also that it takes up its crucial role in opposition professionally and effectively. When I first stood here as your Prime Minister, I told you the most important task I had was to return stability to our economy. Inflation is back to target, mortgage rates are falling, and growth has returned. We have enhanced our standing in the world, rebuilding relations with allies, leading global efforts to support Ukraine, and becoming the home of a new generation of transformative technologies. And our United Kingdom is stronger too, with the Windsor Framework, devolution restored in Northern Ireland, and our union strengthened. I'm proud of those achievements. I believe this country is safer, stronger, and more secure than it was 20 months ago. And it is more prosperous, fairer, and resilient than it was in 2010. Whilst he has been my political opponent, Sir Keir Starmer will shortly become our Prime Minister. In this job, his successes will be all our successors, and I wish him and his family well. Whatever our disagreements in this campaign, he is a decent, public-spirited man who I respect. He and his family deserve the very best of our understanding as they make the huge transition to their new lives behind this door, and as he grapples with this most demanding of jobs in an increasingly unstable world. I'd like to thank my colleagues, my cabinet, the civil service, especially here in Downing Street, the team at Chequers, my staff, CCHQ, but most of all, I'd like to express my gratitude to my wife Akshata and our beautiful daughters. I can never thank them enough for the sacrifices they have made so that I might serve our country. One of the most remarkable things about Britain is just how unremarkable it is that 2 generations after my grandparents came here with little, I could become Prime Minister, and that I could watch my 2 young daughters light Diwali candles on the steps in Downing Street. We must hold true to that idea of who we are, that vision of kindness, decency, and tolerance that has always been the British way. This is a difficult day, at the end of a number of difficult days. But I leave this job honoured to have been your Prime Minister. This is the best country in the world, and it is thanks entirely to you, the British people, the true source of all our achievements, our strengths, and our greatness. Thank you.
That was the now former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Rishi Sunak, talking at the 10 Downing Street, where he, of course, said sorry profoundly in the beginning of his speech, and he said to the country he would like to say that he was sorry. He thanked his colleagues for their hard work, and he in fact also said a few words of praise for Keir Starmer. He said regardless of their political differences, he agrees that Keir Starmer was a decent man and a public-spirited man, and he wished him all the very best. He spoke about how unremarkable, in the midst of its attributes of being remarkable, the country of Britain was. He spoke about the decency, the values of decency and tolerance that the country upheld, also citing his own past belonging to immigrant parents who came to that very country and they managed to make a life for themselves over there. He spoke about how proud he was of their party's achievements in their span of governance in the country, and he did also speak about what lays ahead for the upcoming government in terms of tackling inflation and the other problems that the country currently faces. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.